Good morning, everyone. I'd love to offer a warm welcome to you all. It's a great pleasure to be here to start a new mission of the postgraduate program of health science at the University of Southern Santa Catarina, named Science Breaking Frontiers. And on this mission, we embrace the challenge to talk in English today. This new project aims to provide opportunities for us all in exchanging experiences and knowledge with a broader public as part of the program's internationalization activities. I am extremely delighted to be the host for this moment and address you all. We will start the mission with a Brazilian scientist who holds the position of senior editor in Nature, one of the most influential scientific journals in the world. Our guest speaker will be Ana Paula Ramos Costa Donnelly. Ana is a senior editor for Nature Mental Health. She joined Springer Nature Group in 2018 as a manuscript editor for BMC Psychiatric and BMC Psychology, and later as co-editor for BMC Public Health. Prior to her editorial career, Ana was a postdoctoral researcher with the School of Public Health at University College Cork and the National Suicide Research Foundation, developing a program to improve mental health services in Ireland. Ana completed her master and PhD in pharmacology with emphasis in neuroscience at the Federal University of Santa Catarina, exploring animal models of anxiety and depression. Ana is interested in multidisciplinary research that tries to combine the different disciplines that encompass the study of mental health. As a scientist from a developing country, Ana has also developed a special interest in social determinants of health and access to health. Ana is based in London office. Today, we will have the opportunity to learn more about her scientific journey in conversation with Ana Paula, talking about career outside the academia. How did I join science publishing? On behalf of Unisul and the postgraduate program in health sciences, I welcome our guest, Ana Paula. We are grateful to her for accepting our invitation and becoming our new project first guest. Thank you so much and welcome, Ana Paula.
Thank you very much, Professor Bettine. I'm very happy, and thank you to Professor Rafael as well, who put us in contact. I'm very happy to be here and to participate. I think it's really important, especially because you want to reinforce the English as a language that is really important for researchers. And when I was a postgrad student, I never had this opportunity. And if I had, I think I would run away because I would not feel confident to speak in English. Although we are exposed to English like daily and reading articles, when it comes to speaking in English, it's always more difficult and we feel a bit sometimes embarrassed or ashamed to say something wrong. And I needed to learn the hardest way when I went to Ireland, because I went to Ireland to do part of my PhD. And I need to speak there, otherwise people wouldn't know what I wanted. and I just started speaking English there. And in a few months, I was already feeling more confident to talk and, you know, not think in Portuguese and translate in my head and then speak in English, which is a process, and it's very tiring as well. But it's really important. So I think it's really nice that you are doing this and reinforcing this to your students. So I would talk a bit about my career, how I end up in scientific publishing. Throughout my postgrad career, even when I was an undergrad student, I always liked to work with outreach, science outreach. So talk about science with the general public and teach science. And I was also a high school teacher, teaching biology. And then when I was in my master's, when I finished my master's, I started as a lecturer. And then I started to really like this contact with people and talking about science in a more accessible way. And then I finished my PhD. During my PhD, I did a PhD in pharmacology in the Federal University of Santa Catarina. And since the beginning, we had the plan to go to Ireland, do part of my PhD there, because it was already something that I always wanted to do, to have the experience to live abroad and to see how science is done abroad. And we always had this feeling that, like, in Brazil, we don't have a lot of resources to do research. So we always feel a bit less than other researchers. And then when I got there, I realized that we know so much and we have such a good foundation, science foundation. And we are hard workers, so they like us. And this was a process of empowering, you know, feeling that, no, what I know, it's enough. And it is, we are good. And our universities, although we don't have resources, the knowledge we have, the brain we have. So, and exactly because we don't have resources, we need to think more. So it's easy to be more in emphasis when you are outside, because they see that you know and you think and you come up with a lot of solutions to problems that they wouldn't think, because they never needed to solve those problems. And then I did 1 year of my PhD in Ireland, and at the end of my PhD, of this 1 year period, I met somebody there. And he's my husband today. But basically, I needed to go back to Brazil, and I didn't know what to do with this situation. But I went back to Brazil. I needed to finish my PhD in Brazil. So I stayed 1 year in Brazil. And at the end of this year, we decided that I was going back to Ireland. And I think I would need to do 1.5 years more. But then I did 1 year. And then my supervisor in Ireland, he offered me a job, not as a postdoc, because I didn't finish my PhD when I went back to Ireland. I was still writing my thesis. So I started working in an industry project there. It was a really busy job. I was working with animals, with probiotics and basically psychobiotics. So we were looking for probiotics that would have an effect in behavior. And it was an industry funding project. So a lot of things to do, super busy, a lot of responsibilities, a lot of mice. And then I started to feel like I didn't want to work with animals anymore, because I always liked the human side. And because I was a lecturer for the psychology college, I said, I think I want to work with people. And I had the opportunity to change career first and go to the public health department, start to work with people. And we were it was a really enriching experience, because I was working with patients that had a history of suicide attempt. So those were very, how can I say, a very vulnerable group of people. And I needed to talk to them and listen to their stories. And I say that this is an experience that changed the way I see people in the street, because we never know what is going on in their lives. And then I was still in Ireland already for 2 years after my PhD, when my husband got transferred to London. And I always liked the scientific communication, never liked to write papers. I was always trying to avoid this and postponing all the things that I needed to do. And it was a process that for me was really tiring, and feeling that I would not be able to write, because you need to write in English and everything, but it was basically lack of training. And then I saw the opportunity when he moved to London to change careers. Although I really liked the experience to work with people in the public health department, I felt that it was my opportunity, because London, you have so many things, so many companies and possibilities. So I tried, thinking I'm not going, like, they will never hire me because I'm not really good in English, because I thought that because to be an editor, you would need to be very good in English. And I decided to try anyway. Of course, I had some guidance. I hired someone to help me to build a CV, because the way we build CVs in Brazil is different from the way you build CVs outside of Brazil. On top of that, the academic CV, like Lattes, is a completely different CV when you want to find a job that outside academia job, which is very different. You need to focus on what you need and what the position is requiring. So you need to build your CV to reflect what they need. And it was a learning process for me, because I thought that I need to put everything I know, everything I have done, because then they will see how good I am. But it's actually not true. So I applied for this position, which was a locum position, which is a position that it's like a short-term position, and with a contract that was 9 months contract. And I took the chance. So I decided, I took the chance. I went for the interview. I got invited to 2 different positions. One position with Elsevier, which is another very big publishing company, and with Springer Nature. I went to both places. I did the interview, and I felt really welcome in Springer Nature. I was feeling really happy there. I felt very comfortable during the interview, and they offered me the job. So I started there in December 2018 as a manuscript editor. And my role was to check all the manuscripts that were submitted to us and basically make decisions. So we send, how it works in publishing, you have different models of journals, and you have different models of dealing with those manuscripts. The BMC series, they are journals that are open access, and they are basically run by external editorial board. So they are academics from institutions that kindly do the work to basically choose whatever is going to be considered in the journal, and they are going to choose reviewers and make decisions. But because they're in PNC series, we receive a really huge amount of manuscripts. They needed to, sometimes the editorial board member wouldn't be able to pick up one of those manuscripts, and we would need to send out to peer review. So we would need to find reviewers, invite reviewers, and make decisions based on the reviewers' comments. And then I start to really get passionate about the job. And then I got a different role, which is the editor role for the series. It's basically a managing editor position. So you take care of the editorial board members, training them, promotion of the journal, the Twitter account. So you are exposed to many different tasks that are really nice and interesting. And it was really nice as well, because you see a lot of different contexts, because it's public health, it's so important, especially during the pandemic. It was really good, really good experience. And then I got to know that the Nature brand is one brand of the Springer Nature company. Then you have BMC, Biomed Center, there is another brand. And you have some other journals that are from Springer, because there was a fusion between Springer and Nature. So they have now the Springer Nature company. And Nature has Nature, the journal Nature, and they have more specialist journals that they call the Nature portfolio journals, and they're more specialists. So I saw that they were going to launch a new journal that it's called Nature Mental Health, and it's really the subject that I love the most. And I decided to apply, and then in this meantime, I got the job, and I was promoted to senior because I had already the previous experience with the series, with BMC series. And we are working now to launch the journal. The journal is going to be launched in January, the 19th of January, 2023. And it's a different role as well, because in the series, in the BMC series, I would have a role that would be much more like a background role. And now I need to be the one to write pieces as well. I need to write research highlights. I need to talk to researchers daily to ask them if they have anything interesting for us. And I run the Twitter account together with my colleagues, and it's really rewarding. So it was a pathway that I never thought that I would have, and I tried, and I decided to take the risk, and I don't regret. It's really rewarding. It's a 9-to-5 job. So you start working 9, you finish 5. You don't bring work to your home. You don't overthink too much. And it's really rewarding as well, because authors get happy, and you see how you can shape science as well. So although I don't do science anymore, I am helping to shape science, because I am the one pitching for subjects that I think are important for the society and what we need now, the needs of our society. So I'm very happy. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. And I don't know.
Thank you, Ana Paula. So amazing how life gets the way to doing the right thing, when you have, especially when you have to link personal and professional life, it's not easy, of course, we know, but it seems in your way, life show you how to do it. Can be a good challenge or opportunity to get the right way. So when you talk to us about her journey and how you have to link your love with your work, and with work, and it's important. Before we carry on with the event, and I'd like to give my regards and appreciation to all the people who made this occasion a reality, the group of professors and students who worked hard to make it possible today. And of course, I don't see, but I can probably, we have questions and comments from the floor, so we will have the help of our student, Maria Julia, to tell us how our floor are thinking, what people are thinking about your journey. Let's see, Maria Julia, we have something?
Yes, we have. First of all, hello, Anna, Professor. Thanks for the opportunity to be here. I'm a master's student from the postgraduate program in health science here at University of Southern Santa Catarina. And we collected some questions to do for you. It's okay, Anna?
Yes, of course.
Okay. First of all, very inspiring to hear your history. See you say you weren't good at English, and now see you be an editor at a renowned journal like Nature. Congratulations.
Thank you.
In that sense, what else would you say to students who feel insecure with English?
It is basically, you need to try. And it is what I say to any foreigner trying to speak a second language. Don't overthink, try, don't be ashamed, because in the beginning, a lot of people there in Ireland, they would encourage me saying, well, at least you have a second language, because most of native English speakers, they don't need to learn a second language. So it is already a lot that you can actually understand them. And if you just drop your standards and think like, I'm going to speak the way I can, just don't be ashamed. They will make effort to understand you. And to start speaking English, you need to start. So just start and see what happens, and you see the magic happen, because and with time you start to feel more confident. So just do it. Don't feel ashamed.
Okay. How many years did you live in Ireland before moving to London?
So I lived 1 year during my sandwich. This is another word that is difficult to just let it go, because even my husband, who is Irish, he does sometimes speak nah, because it's just so easy. But I lived in Ireland from 2014 to 2015. Then I went back to Ireland in 2016. And then end of 2018, I moved to London. So 2 years plus 1 year, 3 years in total.
Okay, that's a good one. Can we aspire to publish in Nature?
Of course, always. It is just like, this is another point that people ask, what does it take to publish in Nature? And then the thing that I didn't know when I was a postgraduate student was like, the different category of papers is not only about the impact factor, it's about what public do you want to reach, the message you want to pass. There are many Brazilians publishing in Nature or Nature portfolio journals, which are very good journals as well. So, but I would say that don't think about the journal, but think about the science you're doing. What does it take to publish in Nature? It's a good research question. You need to have novelty, like something that it's new and nobody did before, or a very good sample size. If you're working with populations, you have more chance because, with a big sample size, you can take better conclusions. So think about the quality of your science. And of course, we know that we don't have a lot of resources to make like very difficult techniques, but nowadays you have artificial intelligence that you don't need a lot of money, but you need brains. You need to think about the study design to answer a question that it's there and nobody answered before.
It's so important, this, Anna, because what you said, we have to do our science, we have to do our projects as better we can. And the journal where we could publish will be the result of this, and not just not think, oh, I want to publish in Nature. But before, you have to start to do your research as better you can.
Can I do just one question?
Sure. I have some too, but Let's go, Maria Julia. You can go on.
I think that's really, really important. Can you tell us about the challenges you may have faced as a female researcher working towards an academic career at Nature? If you had some challenge, I don't know.
Yeah, so that's a really good question, and it's a subject that I really like because as a researcher, I did encounter a lot of challenges in my postgrad program in Brazil, in my job in Ireland. There are challenges. Many of them, they are kind of hidden. And then when you leave Brazil, you're not only a female researcher, you're an immigrant. So all the privilege you had in Brazil just for being a Brazilian and from like a different social class, you know, not everyone can go to college here in Brazil, and not, you know, so I was already privileged because I went to college, I did everything in the Federal University of Santa Catarina. And then when I went to Ireland, I lost all my privilege. So there were challenges, and they are not easy. It's not easy, but you always need to go back to your root and know what you know and be confident about what you know and what you can give. And then one of another reason for me to change career was this, because I wanted to be a mom. I wanted to have time to spend with my kids. And I couldn't see this happening as a researcher because of the time you need to spend, because of this feeling that it's never good enough, you haven't done enough, you need to do more, you need to publish, you need to get grants. And it is a reality that it's starting to change now because people are talking about this. But in my time, I couldn't see this happening, and I needed to change. And once I started in Springer Nature, I saw that it's a different reality, and I had opportunities there. They talk about this. This is something that they want to reduce as well. They give space for people to talk about this, talk about discrimination, talk about, recently there was a piece about being an immigrant and working as a postdoc, and how people experiences many different types of abuse, not only sexual abuse or harassment, but emotional abuse. And this is something that is really strong, and people need to talk about this. So thank you very much for this question, because it does happen. But you need to be very careful, because it's still today, it's still something that people are talking more, but you never know about the consequences, because when you talk, when you speak up, people get angry. So you need to be sure about everything and take care. We are still women working in a society that it's mainly giving more opportunities to men. So we need to work double, we need to do everything. It's more difficult, but you can get there. So it's possible if you are surrounded by people that will support you. And so I am very lucky because of this. And I had women that I was also inspired by. So every opportunity that I have to inspire other women, I will do. And I'm very happy that like this situation here, this project is being led by women. And this is something that we need to keep doing, because it is a reality that needs to change. We are starting to change, and we need to keep this fight, basically. It is a fight.
Okay, I think that's it. Professor Bettini, I think she has some question.
Okay, unfortunately, our time rushed in this morning, so we don't have much time, but just to finalize, what advice would you offer to those of us who desire to have an international career, thinking that we have a lot of students here, and of course, we intend to give them the opportunities to have their experience abroad too. So
I would say just go out and about. Basically, you know somebody that you like their research. We always have somebody that you look, oh, this is the guy from this field. Write an email and ask them, do you have anything for me? What do you have there? Other possibilities is to look in the university. Let's say I want to do something in Harvard. You go to Harvard website and see what information they have for international students. How can you get into the postgrad program? Most of them, they offer those scholarships. So sometimes you need to do just like they will evaluate your CV. Sometimes you need to do an exam, but it is possible. There are many people out there that have done this. I had the opportunity because I did the Science Without Borders. So I had a scholarship from Brazil, and this was, for them, it's really good because it's money that they don't need to worry, and they only need to give you a place to sit in their labs. But if you don't have this, I also know people that got scholarship from the local government, or from from the university, or the professor, because the professors, they have those projects that they get the grants, and then they can choose basically who they want to give to. So sometimes if you just reach out, ask them, do you have anything for me? Talk about what you do, show that you're interested, always treat them very respectfully, say, I really like your research, and I am wondering if you have anything, or even an advice on how can I get there. They are usually open to this, and they like, because there is now a shortage of people, especially for postdocs. A lot of people are kind of leaving academia, so they need people to work, and they facilitate the visa. So the university will give you visa, they give health insurance. So if you get a position, they will give a lot of support to you. So I would say just go out there and ask. There is no harm in asking. And sometimes if they don't reply, send another email just as a follow-up. I don't know if you have seen my email, because they receive a lot of emails as well. And just try.
Thank you so much. And I think it's important we lose the afraid of talking English, probably we now here are no native speakers, but we are doing our best. We are trying to do. So we have to try. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow, it was amazing. I have no words to say how glad I am to stay to share this moment with you. Thank you so much, Ana Paula. It was a really enlightening experience. And because of our time, we have to finish now. Thank you so much for being here. And all of you are sharing and follow us on YouTube. Thanks so much for staying here today.
Thank you very much. Thank you, girls. I wish you all the best. And if you need anything, you can just email me as well, and I'm happy to help.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Have a
Bye.
nice day, and let's see the games. We have Brazil today.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.